Come seeker, come traveler, come all humankind, online or in person, whomever you love.
Come and be welcome at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Cheyenne. Here, we are building a community of refuge where all have equal worth and are invited into spiritual exploration as a foundation for hope, compassionate service, and action.
This is a place where questions are encouraged, a room for all of who you are.
This is a place full of works in progress, a place for being human together.
Welcome. It's good to be here.
Settle in and exhale, for this is a time for community. And as we move into our announcements, let me just say thank you to all of our musicians today. Aaron Varhalmi, who often joins us on violin, as well as my parents, Carl Mount and Marty Dolly, who are joining us special. Thank you all.
Good morning. I'm Lori McGill, a member of the Committee on Shared Ministry, and I'd like to welcome you to this church where we are on a shared journey to find meaning, connection, and community together. If you are new to us, please fill out a blue welcome card and drop it in the offering basket so we can share information about our activities and help you find what nourishes your spirit here. Note cards in your pew are available to write your joys and sorrows for the pastoral prayer. We pass an additional basket during the offering to gather these. Write your name or be anonymous. You can write do not share if you have something you would like held in care by our worship leader and pastoral care team, but not spoken in prayer. Many activities and events happen each week in this community. Here are a few things that are coming up soon. I have been asked to let everyone know that Steve Scott is currently working on the bee garden. So the garden bench is now on the stage in the social hall. Nobody has stolen it, but if you're wondering where it is, it's in the social hall awaiting refurbishment. Faith development classes begin next week for ages 5 to 12. Following the worship service, if you wish to register a child or children, please see Reverend Elizabeth during coffee hour. Next week is a busy one, so here are a few things to remember. Please bring food and stay for our potluck. Bring water from a special place for our water communion, and bring your learning and loving self for a shared backpack blessing and to bless our congregation's leaders and teachers for the year ahead. Read your newsletter and watch our bulletin board in the front hall for updates on classes and events starting up over the coming weeks, including Licita Divina, Bring Your Own Book Club, Craft Night, Music Ministry, Chalice Circles, Family Fun Nights, and more. And now we have a special announcement from Heather Allen about the next season of our Wellspring small group.
Hi guys. So I actually am going to be administrating the Wellsprings this year, and I just want to let you know anybody's welcomed, and I want to let you know what it has done for me. It surprisingly actually taught me a lot of patience, because it taught me how to listen to other people, like really listen and hear them, and to hear their faith journeys and what they believe in, and get a different perspective of it. I made some great, wonderful friends like Miss Susan, and Mr. Mike actually administered it this last season for my class. But it just helped me with getting a different perspective. It opened my eyes to other people's thoughts that I would never have gotten if I didn't go to this class. It helped me with teaching me different methods on like spiritual development and, and everything. It was just really good. Other than that, it's really fun. I am such a fun person, and I feed you guys. So, I mean, that would be good. Yes, ma'am. Wellspring is actually, it's a class that we meet every other week for 20 sessions. Yeah, 20 sessions. And what it is to help you like with different sources about how, like the background in Wellspring, different sources on how to do like spiritual enhancement, how to find spiritual techniques to get through, any troubling times. And we also do different creative, this is how I get through things, or, like mine is music, and, so they got to listen to all sorts of songs. But it's really fun. It usually meets like 2 hours. We're really flexible. Usually, I think we've got it set up now to meet on Sundays, Saturdays. Sorry, sorry, I'm real nervous about this. But we have it set up, and we have our first meeting on September 21st, and that will, even if you just want to come and see what it's like, you do have a workbook to follow, and we have readings and stuff like that, but they're all really simple, and they're really good, and it brings a really good community, and we're there to always support people to help with your faith enhancement and everything like that. So if you would like to, we're gonna have a sign-up sheet, if you have any questions, just yell. And that was more than 200 words, but yeah, it's really good. It really helped me, it really helped me, so.
Yeah, so even if you're not sure, sign up, come to the retreat on the 21st. At the very least, you'll get a bagel and cream cheese out of the whole deal, and
Yeah.
maybe some fruit.
Yeah, it's a really good time, but if you have any questions, just ask me. You can ask Mr. Mike, you can ask Rev, and, we can help with anything like that. And there is an option for Zoom, like if you can't be there for a weekend, we can Zoom you in and stuff like that, so. Thanks, guys, that was a terrible mess, but hey, if you have questions, let me know.
We're happy to have you. Thank you.
And I'm back. We gather in person and on Zoom each week, giving from our resources to sustain the work of this church and share our abundance with community organizations, broadening the reach of our values. You can find the text to give number and a QR code in your order of service, or use your Realm app for electronic giving, or your Share the Plate offerings and pledges may also be dropped in the baskets in a few moments as they pass. Our Share the Plate partner for September is the Unaccompanied Students Initiative, and I am here to tell you a bit about their work. So, who we are. In 2015, the Unaccompanied Students Initiative, or USI, a 501c3 nonprofit, became the focus of Strong Families Action Team due to a need identified through the point-in-time count in McKinney-Vento data through Laramie County School District Number 1. Due to the need of homeless teen support throughout Wyoming, we have continued to expand and now provide support to Laramie County, Natrona County, and Albany County teens. From Jessica Sayers, the Executive Director of the USI, the year 2023 was the year of growth, expansion, and significant accomplishments in our mission to provide a safe and stable environment for unaccompanied students and develop their skills for independent living. Here are some highlights. In 2023, USI successfully served over 30 students. We are proud to have made positive impact in their lives by providing support, guidance, and resources to help them thrive academically and emotionally. To meet the growing demand for our services, we have increased capacity in Casper. We now have 14 rooms available for the unaccompanied students, ensuring that more students have access to a safe and stable living environment. In addition to our presence in Casper, we have expanded our program in the Laramie community. We have established services and support systems for unaccompanied students in that area, reaching out to meet the needs of students in more regions across Wyoming. USI is grateful for the continued support and collaboration from our dedicated staff, community partners, and stakeholders. It's through these strong partnerships that we have been able to achieve these milestones and make a difference in the lives of students in Wyoming. Looking ahead, we remain committed to our mission and will continue to work towards expanding our reach, improving our services, and supporting the academic and personal growth. Please give generously. Thank you.
of gray, black, and white. They look so real to me, but they look so much in pain. Let's drink to the hardworking people. Let's think of the lowly of birth. Spare a thought for the ragtaggy people. Let's drink to the salt of the earth.
So with gratitude, we receive our morning's offering. We gather today on a day of rest. Tomorrow is Labor Day, reserved for rest as well to honor those who work. For work and rest and work are the cycles of our lives which go round and back and forth, sleeping and dreaming to waking and striving. So here we honor work. We know that community survives and thrives by our shared efforts. And here we honor rest. We know that the sacred comes to us in moments of ease, when spacious breath gives pause to honor the wonder of this world. Here, let us come together in solidarity to honor all whose work has built us toward today, to honor all whose dreams and play and creativity have made a better future, to honor the workers who fought for safety regulations, for the weekend, for the 8-hour day, for the rights that made the middle class and the living wage, to honor the workers whose contributions of unpaid labor, of child rearing and cooking, of budgeting, domestic tasks, of so many types, have made their partners' work outside the home sustainable as well. We live because of our laboring ancestors of all kinds. We thrive because of their dreams in those moments of rest. Today, let us take this time to be thankful for both the work and the rest. Let us honor all who have come and all who will join in the dreams and the work not yet done. So let us worship. And for our opening hymn, if you'll open your gray hymnals and rise in body or in spirit, we are going to try a round. So we have number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. And I'll invite the folks who are nearest to me to be part 1, and the folks who are nearest to my mother in the green dress to be part 2. And we're gonna try this once around all together, and then 3 times, 1, and then 2 will pick up as part 1 hits that number 2 right above the bar. Let's see how we do.
On this Sunday before Labor Day, we light this flame to honor all work. Not only the work we do for pay with our hands, our backs, and our minds. That is important, yes. But also the work we do for love. The work we do to help others stay alive and belong instead of being outcast. The work we do to ensure people are paid fairly, work reasonable hours, and have quality in their lives. The work we do caring for the young, the old, the infirm. The work we do to mentor, to educate, to advocate, and to enrich the community, the country, and the world. We honor all the labors that support our world and the work we do to make this a better place.
So if the young or the young at heart would like to join me on the chancel at this time, we invite you to be a part of speaking our covenant in unison before our time for all ages. The words to this covenant may be found on the inside cover of your order of service. So we begin. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its cause. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth, and to help others. All right. We have many folks feeling young in spirit, and we thank them for their presence. So today, I'm going to tell you a little bit. Oh, do I have my microphone? This is always the day. I do indeed, that's a me error. I clicked a button one too many times. All right, so today our story is one that comes from the coal mining areas of Appalachia. So once upon a time, a long time, though not so long ago, there were many coal mines all through the Appalachian Mountains. And many of the workers were not paid well in those mines. It was hard work and dirty work, and too many years of breathing coal dust could turn your lungs black and cause you to cough and wheeze and bring about many illnesses. And since this was such hard work, the people doing it thought there ought to be some kind of protections, some kind of limits to the length of days. 16 hours in pitch black felt like too many. From sunup to sundown and only seeing the night sky bright compared to the coal mines when you came out. They thought they should be paid a little better, and paid in real money, not company scrip, a special kind of paper that you could only spend at the company store, where prices were high and deals put you further and further in debt. And so some of these miners went on strike. Anybody want to explain what a strike is for any folks who haven't heard that word before? Yeah.
A strike is when a whole bunch of the workers, all of the disgruntled workers, get together and decide that they're not going to go to work, or they're not going to do the work, until it gets to the point where the employers decide, if I want to keep making money, if I want to keep my workers, maybe I'll concede a couple things to keep them happy.
That's a pretty good explanation. So a strike is when the workers get together and refuse to work all together in solidarity. Sometimes they even line up so that it's hard to send other workers into work in case the company tries to just hire other people to get around the strike. It's a way of making sure that you can't earn money while you're being unfair. And so these workers went on strike. And one of the workers on strike was the husband of a lady named Florence Reese. Well, Florence did not work in the coal mines, but she was very much in solidarity with the strike because she had children who needed to be fed and housed and kept safe. And so she was caring for not only her children, but the children of some of the other workers while they were down on the picket line, helping out with the strike. And while she was doing so, the company called in some people called the Pinkertons. The Pinkertons were strike breakers. People called in especially to make coal miners scared, even sometimes to hurt them if they wouldn't stop being on strike. So the Pinkertons came through and they walked through the town shooting at the houses, making a great noise and great fear. And Florence had all the children hide under the bed because it was the safest, lowest place in the house. And she started to hide under the bed. But then she had an even better idea. So she kept low, crawled to her desk, pulled down a piece of paper and a little stub of pencil, and then back under that bed with all the children behind her, she wrote a song. She wrote a song called "Which Side Are You On?" And it became a powerful union song. Which side are you on? Come, all you workers. She asked them, will you be a union man or a scab for J.H. Blair? Which side are you on? To call them to stay the course, to be in solidarity with other workers. And so, on this Labor Day, we tell this story because even when times are hard, even when it looks like things are fearful, like there perhaps is a lot going on that's scary in the world and around you, perhaps there is room for courage, for imagination. Perhaps there is room for a song. And so, at this time, I invite you to head back to your seats and to imagine solidarity as we move to our pastoral prayer. So if you'll take a breath and join me, let us meditate and pray. Spirit of life, Spirit of love, we gather each week. We in this community are a part of one another's support and solidarity. In hard times, may we reach out for comfort. In happy times, may we celebrate our joys. And may we always dwell together in the wonder and mystery of this magnificent, ever-changing life. In this time, may we hold in prayer those who are struggling with health, those who are seeking healing. And may we hold with joy those who are thriving, those who have had better news about health, those who are feeling the changing of the seasons with anticipation, excitement, those who have gone back to school and are finding joy in the new work, in new friendships found. And may we hold especially in joy Meg Varhalmi, whose birthday is tomorrow, and take a moment to say happy birthday, Meg. And may we also hear a word from this sanctuary saying, you are loved, you are appreciated, and you are needed on this planet. Thank you for all that you are. May we all hold such love for one another and know that we are loved. May we continue to hold Danny Rossler in our prayers as she continues to recover and hopes to be back in church in the next couple of weeks. She welcomes visits at Life Care if you have the time. And we acknowledge, of course, in this beginning of fall, this first day of September, the warmth that is as yet with us, these times of harvest and bounty, as the flowers still bloom, the crops grow. May we begin to anticipate the fallow times of the year, making space in our lives, our homes, our gardens for the ever-changing seasons, for one another in these times in which we must grow close to keep warm. So may we give thanks for these reminders of earth and hold room in our hearts for joys unspoken and sorrows too tender yet to share. May we find in this space peace and comfort and community which enfolds us. Amen, and blessed be.
Traveling down that cold town road, listening to my rubber tires whine. Goodbye to Buckeye and white sycamore, I'm leaving you behind. I've been a coal man all of my life, laying down the track in the hole. Got a back like an ironwood, bent by the wind, blood veins blue as the coal, blood veins blue as the coal. Somebody said that's a strange tattoo you have on the side of your head. I say that's the blueprint left by the coal, just a little more and I'd be dead. I love the rumble and I love the dark, I love the cool of the slate, and it's on down a new road, looking for a job, traveling and hunting I hate. Traveling and hunting I hate. I've stood for the union and I've walked the line, I fought against the company. I've stood for the UMW of A. Now who's gonna stand for me? I got no job and I got no pay. Just got a worried soul and this blue tattoo on the side of my head. Left by the number 9 call. Left by the number 9 call. Left by the number 9 call.
Thank you, Marty. This is our sacred message. The Workers in the Vineyard, a tale of Christian origin. The parable of the workers in the vineyard comes from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 20, verses 1 through 16. It tells a tale of a landowner who hires workers to help in his vineyard, and they agree on a price of 1 denarius for a day. Throughout the day, this landowner goes out again and again, at 9, at 3 in the afternoon, even 5 o'clock, as the workday would seem to be ending, gathering more and more workers to assist. The gospel reads, "When the evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to his manager, 'Call the laborers and give them their pay, beginning with the last and then going to the first.' When those hired about 5 o'clock came, each of them received a denarius. Now, when they first came, they thought they would receive more, but each of them also received a denarius. When they received it, they grumbled against the landowner, saying, 'These last worked only 1 hour, and you have paid them equal to us who have borne the burden of the day and the scorching heat.' He then replied to one of them, 'Friend, I am doing you no wrong. Did you not agree with me for 1 denarius? Take what belongs to you and go. I choose to give to the last the same as I give to you. Am I not allowed to do what I choose with what belongs to me? Or are you envious because I am generous? So the last will be first, and the first will be last." How often are we defensive or upset when we see those who have come after us being granted an equal share? How often do we hear surrounding us, maybe even within our own hearts, grumbling about entitlements not earned, or about young people who want to earn a living wage without having worked to make their way up the ladder? What is the call in this wisdom tale? For equity, for justice, for generosity? How should we guide our lives and open our hearts in response to this story of long ago, a time where people and their reactions are not so different from ourselves? Let us meditate on these questions as our guest, Marty Dolly, plays our meditative music.
This song. I learned it off a Joan Baez album, and I was pretty proud of myself. This was back when I was a teenager. Elizabeth's great-grandfather, my grandfather, was active in unions, as was that whole neck of the family. And when he retired to St. Petersburg, he found a group of equally active people that were still kind of active, actually, amazingly. And so he invited me to the beach one day with my guitar to play for them. And I thought, I'm going to play this song I learned from Joan Baez. And they all joined and sang this with me. I dreamed I saw Joe Hill last night, alive as you and me. Says I, but Joe, you're 10 years dead. I never died, says he. I never died, says he. In Salt Lake, Joe, says I to him standing by my bed. They framed you on a murder charge. Says Joe, but I ain't dead. Says Joe, but I ain't dead. The copper bosses killed you, Joe. They shot you, Joe, says I. Takes more than guns to kill a man. Says Joe, I didn't die. Says Joe, I didn't die. And standing there as big as life, him smiling with his eyes, Joe says what they forgot to kill. Went on to organize, went on to organize. Joe Hill ain't dead, he says to me. Joe Hill ain't never died when working men are out on strike. Joe Hill is at their side. Joe Hill is at their side. From San Diego up to Maine, through every mine and mill where workers strike and organize, it's there you'll find Joe Hill. It's there you'll find Joe Hill. I dreamed I saw Joe Hill last night, alive as you and me. Says I, but Joe, you're 10 years dead. I never died, says he. I never died, says he.
This is an excerpt from What It Takes to Heal by Prentice Hill. Prentice Hill writes, the day after George Zimmerman was acquitted in the murder of Trayvon Martin, it felt like the walls of the clinic wanted to burst. 50-minute sessions couldn't contain the rage and grief. There was rage and grief in my clients. There was rage and grief in me. It was all I could do to maintain my composure and act like a therapist and resist pushing open every door and bringing all of us together to cry it out in the hallways. I wanted healing for my clients and for every Black person everywhere that day. I knew how much we needed it, but I was starting to sense a limit to what we could do as therapists. That as much as each client needed room to heal and tell their stories, the people who came to see me each week needed the world to change, not just how they felt about it. The next night, a group of activists shut down the 405 and brought Los Angeles traffic, and therefore Los Angeles, to an utter standstill. A couple hundred of us gathered in an art studio. None of us knew exactly what was happening, but we knew it had never happened before. When I was asked to facilitate a conversation that night, there was still so much I was trying to understand. I had pursued justice and healing work to separate solutions. as separate solutions. But I was beginning to realize how deeply interwoven they were, how one enriched and made possible the other. A woman near me offered that we needed churches with no walls, places of Black worship outdoors that didn't turn any of us away, churches that weren't a place of exclusion, but a place of discovery. It was overwhelming to feel the possibility. We need therapists for everyone, another person near me shared. Places to be joyful. We need food in our neighborhoods, meditation centers, living wages so people didn't die from stress and overwork, nature for our children, access to health care, to be able to grieve in public. Every answer felt more like a revelation and an affirmation that social change, at its best, made room for well-lived lives.
So for the laborer, the worker, the wanderer, the worshiper, the coal miner's wife, and the miner too, for the songwriter and the worker in the vineyard, the labor organizer, the therapist working for healing justice. Today, we are honoring stories of workers across the world, people whose lives offer lessons for a better world, for workers' rights and protections, for the betterment of humanity. This Labor Day, we honor the need for rest as well, granted to many workers in the United States and Europe in the hard-won standards, the 40-hour work week, the weekend, slowly expanded over time from a basic, long ago biblical call that said on the seventh day, even God rested and saw that it was good. Such power there is in the time for rest. For rest is more than just sleep. Yes, 8 hours of sleep are necessary, especially after 8 hours or more of work. But the old union call is for 8 hours of what we will, too. That space that creates an opening in the world where our creativity can begin to shine through, where a better world can become a reality, where our private dreams may mingle in shared conversation to become something more. The African-American poet Lucille Clifton once said, "We cannot create what we cannot imagine." When we have too little time for rest, no time to open minds and hearts when we're caught in the trap of overwork, we may turn to ways of shutting off our minds instead of expanding them, ways of helping to drop us quickly into downtime from exhaustion. When exhausted, the space in our hearts for connection, for spiritual grounding, for imaginative work, for the quiet conversations and vigorous ones that meander toward what the world could be and how we might live well together, all these shut down. In this space of scarce freedom from the grind, we may turn to quick coping, drinks, smokes, a Netflix binge to shut down your brain, leaving no space for uncomfortable thoughts. Facebook or TikTok doom scrolls that you come back from, knowing more about your friends' lives and many of their recent meal choices, yet feeling strangely more lonely, almost hungover after this illusion of connection. Adrienne Marie Brown organizing in the wake of the killings of Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown and Eric Garner in this time of the sparking into action of the Black Lives Matter movement, reminded us that losing our imagination is a symptom of trauma. Reclaiming the right to dream the future, strengthening the muscle to imagine together as Black people is a revolutionary decolonizing activity. And strengthening the muscle to imagine together is revolutionary for us all. So let us imagine on this precious Sabbath day. Let us imagine ourselves into the spaces, the power of a woman hiding with children under a bed and composing a song about justice, even amidst fear. Imagine your own ancestors, how they found work to feed their families and courage to survive. And perhaps something more. Perhaps found community and took action. Imagine those who have migrated to and through Wyoming, dreaming of better lives. Those who came here in hope for open land or to build a mine stake, to practice religion freely in wide open spaces, or with the myth of voting rights and a voice for women, not so easy to come by in the East. These dreams of liberation are bound up in our history and what moved people to this state, people of white and Black and Chinese descent coming with the railroad and the cattle drives and the coal mines. Dreams of survival and self-determination that stopped the Arapaho people here to the north, now neighbors of the Shoshone on the Wind River. And today, that imagination is bringing back buffalo, building community centers, and doing language reclamation work across that space. For as Prentice Hemphill noted, social change at its best makes room for well-lived lives. Hemphill was learning this lesson, as we heard earlier, through the work he was finding in the imagining together, which he was suddenly given space for in the wake of tragedy. In that time when LA was shut down through civil eruption. But we need not wait until the world is fractured. Shared imagination can happen any time we choose to make the effort. We can learn from those who have made space in the fractures of the past, choose to become our own makers of dreaming space in times more commonplace. Church is one of many spaces in which this dreaming might happen. Our process of becoming ready for the work of collective liberation must involve healing as well, our own sense of not enough. Reminding ourselves and one another that we do not, in fact, live in a world where scarcity is a problem of simple resources, but one of collective will to offer generosity. Like the workers in the vineyard, when we find ourselves toiling sun up to sun down each day, it is so easy to become guarded, jealous of those who started later, to want to protect what we have worked so hard to achieve. It might look like slighting those new to the working world or those working shorter hours, those we think might put less effort in. Easy to find ourselves like those workers in the vineyard, pointing a finger at those who have worked less. The rewards given might draw our ire, make us think the world has not been quite fair. Or we might look at those new to the struggles for justice and say, look how far we've come. Don't they know how much better we have it already? Can't they be content instead of making us push again? But contemporary scholar A.J. Levine, a Jewish writer, suggests that we may gain much from treating this parable as a commentary on our responsibilities as people who have enough. In classic Christian interpretation, we often hear this as a parable where God is the landowner and the workers receive their spiritual denarii as everlasting life. A simple tale of salvation. And yet, in the lands 2,000 years ago when Jesus was speaking this parable into being, it may have been read as much as a parable of economic justice for both workers and landholders in the audience. For us, there's an invitation as well to identify with the landowner as people who have enough, to wonder about our obligation to those who are just getting by. A.J. Levine expands the parable's bounds, as liberation theologians have also done, into the economics of our own society. Noticing that in this parable, Jesus is following the dictates of Deuteronomy, which says, since there will never cease to be some in need on the earth, I therefore command you, open your hand to the poor and needy neighbor on your land. Levine writes, it is suggested that this is a parable that tells us of what a person with sufficient means should be doing when we have enough to share. She writes, our responsibility toward generosity to the best of our ability is a part of this tale. It tells of the need for solidarity and seeing that all have enough, that those who could not work in the morning can still feed and clothe their children, that when we rejoice in the solidarity of seeing another's family well cared for, when a laborer goes home with enough, this is a teaching. Levine proposes this might be the parable of the workers who might imagine solidarity, a parable of the landowner who might offer a generosity for community thriving. In so many of the stories of this classical Jewish tradition, there are implications in stories that salvation is not individual but a collective matter, that we are responsible for the whole of the chosen people. And in our own universalist tradition, the chosen people are all people. In the breadth of our beliefs, from universalist to atheistic, our salvation concern here is not so much the hereafter as the salvation of one another today, where the hungry need fed, when the poor need housed, when people need clothed and the sick need care. That this space may be our call. As Grace Lee Boggs once said, a revolution involves making an evolutionary, revolutionary leap toward becoming more socially responsible and more self-critical human beings. In order to transform the world, we must transform ourselves. And so this Labor Day, we bring together stories, songs, words that remind us that people must protect one another and be there for one another and offer our hopes, our wonder, our dreams to one another and open up spacious time to rest and heal and slow down until we feel that we can offer generosity of spirit and a welcome to all in need. For Joe Hill's and Florence Reese's music goes on in inspiration These parables from Jesus did not die with the man himself, and so we go on, taking our inspiration into the future. For the call to revolution is not in pieces, workers' rights, Black rights, LGBTQ rights. It is not any one of these. The call to revolution is a call for all of us to take gratitude for what we learn in the past and bring it toward the future in hope, knowing that the lessons we learn, the songs we sing, the many diverse ways we gather community, the spaces in which we dream, are all a part of building a new way, coming together in solidarity, reminding one another that this struggle and this spaciousness are sides of the same coin, that work and rest and rest and work must be held in balance. So together, may we rise. Together, may we help one another to thrive. Together, may we make it so by the work of our hands and our hearts. And now, may we rise in truth, in body and spirit, singing our closing hymn, number 318 in your gray hymnal, "We Would Be One." We would be one as now we join in singing our hymn of love to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other, to show to all a new community. We would be one in building for tomorrow, a nobler world than we have known today. We would be one in searching for that meaning which binds our hearts and points us on our way. As one we pledge ourselves to greater service, with love and justice strive to make us free.
Please remain standing as we extinguish our flame and speak the words in our order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry within ourselves until we are together again.
And so may we close. Blessed are all who work for the common good. Blessed are all who work together. Blessed are all who work. Blessed are all who make room for rest, and blessed are all who make room for one another in the living of our lives. All who find peace and joy and love in each day. And blessed are you as you go upon your way. Blessed be.
To you, happy birthday, dear May. Happy birthday to you.
And with that, there are gluten-free pumpkin spice cupcakes for everyone.